right, welcome back. This is season two, episode one. Uh, Took a 2 week break. Gannon and I kind of got settled and acclimated back into college. Gannon started up baseball practice, and I moved back and into UW Whitewater. Got back into my house and been here a couple days now. So figured now is the time. So January 25th is when we'll be dropping our first episode of season two. Not quite sure how many episodes will be in each season. It just kind of depends on our schedules. I mean, we're still college students. We still got things to do. Um,
Yep.
Not out of college yet, so I mean, we're not just working a job right now. Don't have all the free time in the world. Uh, but this episode, Gannon and I wanted to directly kind of just talk about the behind the scenes work of what's gone into the last 2 weeks of being off recording. It's kind of been weird. Gannon and I were texting last night. I told him that we needed to record our uh, our episode with our special guest that we got lined up for the Friday drop. And he told me, he was like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "Well, don't we got to drop that on Monday?" And I totally forgot about our routine. I'm kind of out of the loop lately, and getting back into it is it's good. I'm excited. We got a lot planned for you guys, so uh, I'll let Gannon kind of just give his background of what he's been doing these last 2 weeks to get back into school, and then we'll dive right into uh, the important stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's been kind of chaotic. We both started school this week, and baseball's picking up for us, or for me. We got an exhibition game, doubleheader on Saturday, and then we go down to Texas in about 2 weeks. So schedule's picking up, but I mean, this podcast is still one of our main priorities with sports and school. So, we're trying to get a good mix, and I think we're figuring out the right formula here to get the recording times in between my school and baseball. And it was nice to get back into the room. I got everything set up now with the headset mic. We got our stuff working together on our laptops, and the Zoom stuff's making it really easy. And it's more comfortable seeing Bryce and talking to him. It kind of
Mm-hmm.
feels like we're still in the same room like we were over break. So,
Yeah.
it's season two's big and it's exciting, and kind of don't know where it's going to go. We have some guidance. We kind of don't. And we're just going to go with the flow here.
No, for sure. And I like how you mentioned just the face to face aspect of it. It's kind of like we FaceTime back and forth all the time, talking sports, talking how we're doing at school. That's kind of like what me and him and a couple other guys do, like best friends. We stick together, talk on the phone, and to be able to have this video aspect, add that to our brand and to our podcast, it'll be very important going forward. Still a work in progress. I mean, our video coordinator Tanner Cool, which we'll get into more a little bit later about our new additions, but he's working and he's grinding on figuring out this editing stuff, and it'll get better as we go. It's just like I mentioned this past prediction episode. Like Gannon and I are trying to learn. He's trying to learn. Like that's what the purpose of this is. So I
It's
just
time
want to.
management. It's good time management skills. And,
Oh, for sure.
we took this on ourselves we wanted to do this. So, it's more work and a little bit more stress at times, but it's still fun at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's fun to get on here and just talk sports, talk football, hear people's stories too. Hearing people's stories is important. Being able to sit down with a guy and interview them and hear their background about their athletic career and how it's taken off, and just interviewing successful people in the realm of what they do. So that kind of leads me into some ideas for special guests that we have that we're working on. We're working hard to get James Robinson. This is the first time we've kind of opened up and going to talk a little bit about who we want and who we're trying to get and our target audience. James Robinson's on the top of that list. We got a small time connection that it's a possibility. Now that the season's winding down, he's
Hmm.
obviously the Jags didn't make the playoffs, so it
Yeah. And
becomes
he's
a
dealing
little
with a
more
couple of the
likely.
off the field stuff right now that he needs to take care of back in Rockford. So we're giving him some time with that. And, I think that's going to come to fruition here over these next 2 or 3 months during the spring season when he's a little bit down and not as busy with the workouts and stuff. But just stay tuned for that one because that's going to be huge.
For sure. And another one we want to get is Fred Van Vliet. Obviously, another Rockford native, 815. We want to work on that. We have a couple connections with that as well. Gannon's got a connection with that, and actually so does Tanner Cool. His mom has a connection with that, so we're working on that. Another one is so back when Gannon and I were kids, we played Freeport Sticks travel baseball, and we happened to go to Omaha, Nebraska, and we played in a tournament there and went to the College World Series and had a great experience with that. But we found out that we have a connection with a kid that we met when we were kids. His name's Bridley Thomas, and his mom is actually, what is it, Sarah?
Sarah Thomas. Yep.
Sarah Thomas, the ref that will be refing in the Super Bowl.
A
So
lot
if
of
we're
people know that name.
yeah, so we kind of talked a little bit last night with Bridley. We're gonna see if that can become a possibility. I know she'll probably have to go through the NFL to be able to hop on a random interview, But
Yeah.
if that becomes a possibility, that's another one. So that'd be three people right there that we've been working on. Uh, Trying to get some more coaches, college coaches, high school coaches. That's going to be a big focus in season 2, is trying to get more coaches on here so we're able to hear their story. And I feel like the older you are, the more experience you have. So we want to take away that experience and soak it all up. We're gonna try to get a couple players on here. I'll actually let you guys know that our special guest that we more than likely have lined up for this Friday drop is going to be Major Deadman and his dad. Major is playing at, I'll let Gannon actually. You give the background on Major. You went to school with him.
Yeah. I mean, these two guys are really important in my life. I mean, I went to kindergarten with Major, so we've been best friends since we were 4 or 5 years old. We're really good family friends with his parents and my parents. And Major just transferred this last year to Ferris State, which is a top 5 D2 program in Michigan. It's they got a historic coach and they got a really good quarterback program. They sent a lot of guys to the NFL, and I know that they just started practice today. I talked to Major a little bit about that. He's working his butt off. I mean, he trains his butt off, and it's going to be really cool to get his as a player right now. He actually was at an NAI school our freshman year, and now he's at a Division II. So he's seen 2 different levels of good college football. And then Anthony, his dad, is the Freeport football coach and is also the Freeport wrestling coach in high school, and it affected a lot of kids' lives in a positive way. He does a lot for the Freeport community, for people that don't have a whole lot in their home lives, and he also played for semi-pro football for, I think, so he's probably almost 45 years old. I went to games with Major for 4 or 5 years with the Roscoe Rush, which is in the 815 too. So I want to be able to hear some of his playing stuff. He was a leading tackler. He's a middle linebacker. He was an absolute stud about that. So this is going to be a cool interview with a father-son. That's the first time we're going to do that. And if I forgot about it, that's the first time we're going to have 2 guests on at the same time too. So
Sure.
This is going to be interesting. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I agree. And now that we mentioned that, I kind of want to talk a little bit about what I've done during this break. I know Gannon kind of talked about how baseball started back up for him, but over this break, I've been grinding on reaching out to people. I've been grinding on actually reading a few books, and I'll show these books real quick if I can grab them. They're chilling right next to me in the house, so make a little noise.
Yeah, the amount of books you're buying right now, you're going to be stacked up for a year straight, huh?
Oh yeah, for sure. All right, so we got 2 of these. I've been reading this Urban Meyer book right here. It's called Above the Line. And I've also been reading this Nick Saban book right here. And to me, these are 2 coaches that obviously stick out. Obviously, Alabama just won the national championship with Nick Saban. So they're 2 coaches that I want to learn from. Urban Meyer actually just hopped back in to football, joining his first NFL team. So taking their recipes for positivity and success has been something that I've been actually working towards this last 2 weeks. I've had more time to sit down and actually read, and I actually downloaded the app Audible, and gonna create a membership and start getting books on there. I actually got one of the books, the LSU head football coach there, Ed Ogeron. I've been listening to his book, Flip the Script. I actually have about an hour left in that book, so I've almost completed 3 books in a matter of a month and a half, 2 months. So I'm excited about that. I've actually learned a lot, and I'm compiling a document with all my notes from these books on football coaching and stuff that I want to take into uh, an interview when I'm about to interview for a coaching job. I want to have those notes there. I want to show the coaches that I've been studying. I've been practicing towards something bigger than myself, and that's what I want to be a part of. That's kind of like my little secret. We didn't talk much about behind the scenes stuff in season 1. It was just right to the point, interviewing people. So this episode's more so just a recap and an intro into season 2. Um, I'm excited for season 2. Very excited because our viewership is trending in the right direction. We've started to establish a fan base, not necessarily fans, quote unquote, but
Regular listeners.
yeah, people who tune in, people who listen, and an idea that I've kind of had the last couple weeks. Once we got to YouTube and got to the Zoom aspect, uh, every other every other week, maybe when Gannon and I are free, I've thought about the possibility of maybe doing YouTube lives or Facebook lives, Instagram lives, and just hopping on with our podcast setup and just talking sports while we're on there and seeing who can join, so then we can start establishing more relationships with certain
Mm-hmm.
people who listen. I feel like that's a necessity that we got to have going into season 2 is starting to actually communicate and talk with these people who listen to our podcast. Instead of them just hearing our voices, I want to hear their voices too. Uh, get their feedback and hear a little bit about their stories without actually having to have a 30-minute interview, So uh, another thing is I wanted to touch on the additions to our team. Gannon and I kind of made it a point that after season 1, once we expanded a little bit, that we'd start to do more, and we'd start to expand in a different way, start including different stuff, different people, and whoever was interested, we were going to give them a chance. So it just so happened that Tanner Cool had been talking to me about the podcast for quite some time. He actually is a Akron High School graduate, as well as me. He attends Highland Community College now. So to have him on, he's one of my closer friends that I hang out with when I'm back home. To have him on is special. He's one of those people that wants to learn just like us. So we're eager and excited to see where he trends at and if he gets better at what he's trying to learn, just like us. And another one is Ben Swords, who is a Freeport High School graduate, along with Gannon, and he attends Webster
Webster. Yep.
Webster University, and he's actually more like the type of artist, graphic designer type of person. I'm pretty
And he
sure that's
created our first logo for us. I mean,
yeah,
it was huge.
for sure. And then we got Philip Mueller, who has done an immense amount of work. Um, he has already compiled our overlay for our YouTube videos, made a little intro video for us that we can post from time to time just when we need a little intro to something, a picture, a video, whatever it is. We have that intro now. We also have like a little like invitation little thing where it's almost like a poster formatted thing with our contact information. We actually had one up on the Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter pages. However, I sent it over to Philip and asked if he could put his actual
His
artist touch
magic.
on it. Yeah, put his magic on it, and it turned out great. So now we have that on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Our contact information, the purpose of the podcast, what our Monday episodes are like, and what our Friday episodes are like. So over this 2 week break, it's quite insane to me that we've been growing and we haven't put out any new content other than NFL predictions, which is just Gannon and I hopping on here for 10-15 minutes talking about who we got in an NFL game. We haven't really talked about anything, and we haven't had an official episode drop until now. So we're back at it. It feels great. Uh, Trying to think of some other things we should touch on.
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk about a couple of the guys that we're bringing in. Tanner Cool is a guy that I knew a little bit when we were younger through like youth sports and stuff. And I kind of got closer with him as I hung out with Bryce and some more of his friends as school got done with high school and transitioned into college. And, I've talked to Tanner. He's using Vegas Pro, which if you're any familiar with editing, it's kind of a more upscale version of iMovies. And it's something that makes it easier to upload to YouTube. I know I worked with it in high school with Pretzel Pride Network, the broadcasting class in high school, and it was really easy and it's really compatible with YouTube. So I know he's learning that. So we've talked about that, which is some cool discussions type stuff. And he's learning, and that's what Bryce said. He's kind of new to some of this stuff, but he wants to learn, and it's going to help him because I think you mentioned he wants to be a sports management major or something, correct? Around the sports or business.
Business, yeah.
Yeah, so something right around there, and that's the biggest thing. Like talking about when Bryce and I have talked about this, bringing in all these guys. They're all going to want to get jobs in 2 to 3, 4 years. Some of them quicker, as Ben's a senior, Philip's a junior in college. Those guys are going to give some material to employers. And what better way if we can keep growing this podcast and show them, hey, look what we're doing, and this is an actual thing, not just a mock thing that they do on their own.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Philip's graphic design skills, I mean, If you
off the
guys go
charts.
check out his Instagram page, I don't have the exact
It's
name for it.
PKM_design. Check
I
him
mean,
out on
his
Instagram.
work is insane, and he's only 2 hours down the road in Kansas at the University of Kansas. He's doing good work there, and we send stuff over to him. He gets it out within an hour or two, and it's just like, wow, that looks great. And Ben got our first logo, and that was huge for us because we've talked about T-shirts. Kind of stay tuned for some more of that. But Ben drew up our first idea. He's getting a little busy too because I understand the baseball schedule with school and this. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of time when our free time instead of just sitting down here scrolling on TikTok or social media.
Exactly.
But he's still going to stay in it, and we're going to keep him in the loop with stuff, and he will keep adding more and more to this podcast as we evolve. And it's a team, and it's fun. It's more people to bring in, and it's more people to help promote our stuff also.
Exactly. And Gannon kind of mentioned a little thing about T-shirts. So I want to explain that. More than likely, we'll be putting our logo on there. Obviously, the logo will be on there, but still debating some colorway things with color T-shirts, long sleeve, short sleeve. If we want to throw in any hoodies, any hats, so we got to do this in a careful manner because it's going to start off with our money.
Yeah,
Our money's going to have to go in there, obviously. So we're trying to make the best product available for you guys that listen to us, and for people that just want to support. So once we get those T-shirts finalized or whatever we end up doing, obviously there will be a message put out to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, maybe even a poll with just asking who wants to get in on the order form. Because I'm not going to order a T-shirt, or I'm not going to go out and order 70 T-shirts and find out that we're only going to sell 10. So the order form will be put out. You'll probably get like a week to put down, if you want one, your size, and then I'll put that order form into where we'll be ordering our T-shirts from. That way we get the exact amount and the exact size that you need. So that'll be coming. It's just a matter of selecting the right thing. I know we've mentioned that for a couple months now, getting into the T-shirt thing. We started off with the bracelets, which did really well.
yeah,
They
you
were
got you guys responded well to that, and that's kind of the reason why we're so quick on these T-shirt ideas, because people were so responsive to our bracelets, and they blew our mind with the amount of people that we sold and just the donations from some people that were really generous. And
for sure.
that's kind of why we want to get into more stuff, because you guys are responding to what we're doing in a positive way.
Yeah, and quite honestly, off of that point, we would not have this setup right now. These mics that we have right in front of our face. Um, the headset that I have on was actually was purchased with some of the money. Uh, quite frankly, this would not be the Zoom yet without the bracelet sales. Without the bracelet sales, these mics would not be existent. And it'd kind of look weird if we were just on here on Zoom without a relatively professional, more sound setup that actually looks legit. Obviously, we are both in college houses now, so it's going to look like our behind area will be a little. I mean, it is what it is. Like we're in college atmosphere, so we do the best we can. We're setting up as much as we can that looks professional. So we're trying our best, but this mic that I got in front of me would not be possible without people purchasing our bracelets. So that's why we want to sell these T-shirts. We want to be able to upgrade more things, have some ideas. I actually have an Amazon wish list of things that I want to go into and look at purchasing. So to be honest with you, every time we sell something, I will post what we buy with it. I will not use your money in a wrongful manner.
Exactly.
I will not go out and spend it on beer since I'm in college. Uh, that's not the plan. That's not the plan with this money. It's to succeed and trend in the right direction. And there's obviously some other resources that we can use with that money. I've actually had a friend reach out to me. He's from Winnebago. He's actually a songwriter and an artist, and he has an Instagram tool that he's been using for a couple months, and I've looked into it quite a bit. It'll help our following audience grow. Our target audience will be hit perfectly. It's all about algorithm on social media, so we're working on understanding those algorithms, and hopefully YouTube expands too, because I think YouTube will probably be the main spot we get listened to now, just because the video aspect and the overlay that we have, it looks nice and it looks professional. So we've been doing a lot these last 2 weeks.
Yeah. And there's just a couple things. The first thing that I'm really intrigued with the Zoom is when we get our guest on here, we're going to be able to see people's firsthand reactions, their facial expressions when we ask them questions. We'll send questions. We always send questions beforehand so people aren't blindsided with stuff. But I think it's just going to be good, more raw emotion with this, and that's going to be honestly really cool going into this. And trying to think what my other point was, but I can't remember right now. But Bryce, if you want to talk a little bit more, I might come back to me here in a second.
Yeah. Well, quite honestly, I mean, we've had a great 2 weeks off. I mean, we've touched on all this now. We've touched on what we've been doing, what our ideas are. But honestly, it was a good, refreshing 2 weeks to be able to sit back and relax and just work on media stuff without having to post. Because it takes a lot more effort than people think to post everything and put it out there and share it with your friends, share it with my entire Snapchat. I know it can get annoying, so for anybody on Snapchat that gets annoyed, you can unadd me. I'm sorry, but I'm trying to do my best to succeed, and I want to put it out there.
But yeah, that's kind of my last point. That kind of here, we've gotten. I know both of us. We had mutual friends. Some friends that we're just kind of acquaintances with that we don't talk to a lot, that are reposting our stuff and sending us really heartfelt paragraph messages about what we're doing and that, guys, that means a lot to us. I mean,
It
that kind of
does.
keeps us going and want us take it to another notch. But my last thing is, if you guys see something, because we try and watch other podcasts, other people to kind of learn some stuff. I know we're going to incorporate some of that into questions when we ask our guests. But if you guys have any feedback or any suggestions, more than welcome. Comment on our YouTube page or Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We're open
Exactly.
to any ideas. We may or may not use them depending on what they are. But if there's something that you guys think would be cool feature to add on, money wise or not, just shoot us a DM, text. I mean,
Honestly, yep.
anything. We're here for you guys too, and we want to make everything compatible.
Yeah, and the purpose is interaction. Like I said, that'll be a big thing in season two is interaction. I want to talk to people who listen to our podcast. I want to hear from them, whether it's a message, a call, a text about some football game that's on TV, whether it's football, basketball, baseball. I don't care. Like I just want to talk sports with as many people as possible. I want to learn. I want to learn other people's stories. Like I said, without even having to interview them. Have a simple interview on text message. It is what it is. I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna learn things, and that's what I want to do. But the last thing I want to kind of touch on is our brand. The word brand is going to be mentioned quite a bit throughout season two because on top of being a podcast and centered around being having interviews and talking to different people, I want to establish a brand. Like I want to have a brand that has a full time website. I want to have people that can schedule their interviews, so it makes it simpler for us. You know, our T-shirts will be a part of our brand. Obviously, the Art of Football 365 will become a brand on top of being a podcast. That's
Yep.
the goal, and I believe we'll get there by the end of season two, and then season three. Let's hope that'll be looking great too. But that's about all I want to touch on for episode one of season two. It's just pretty much an intro to our plans and what we've been doing, and then we got the interview coming with Major and his dad on Friday. And then for the following Monday, we'll get right back into coaching ideas, different things we've been learning. We'll start touching on those again. And Monday, Friday drops, we'll start back up. If you're going to be a special guest on our podcast, just be patient with us. Gannon's got a full time baseball schedule coming up.
Full
So
time job.
yeah, so if we have recordings that vary when we schedule a recording with you, and say we have to move it, it has nothing to do with you. It has more to do with our college schedules and Gannon playing baseball. So whenever Gannon and I can both make it work, we're gonna do our best to make sure we get a full time sit down with you guys, and that's the goal. So
But yeah, it just touched on that. If you guys have reached out to us or we've reached out to you, we have not forgot about you. I know we were just talking about through around 6, 7 names and people that we want to get interviewed, and we will get to you guys. It's just, we can only do once a week. On top of that, we're not going to try and load our schedule with 4 to 5 podcasts a week because that's going to wear us out and it's not going to be good all the way around. So no, I'm excited for this season. And we have the big picture in mind, but we're also staying in the moment with our weekly uploads and know that we need to put our heart and everything into those before we can get to the big picture. But that's on the back of our mind as well.
for sure. So this will be episode one of season two. It'll be coming out on Monday. Gronk spike that subscribe button for us. That's going to be the new term. Gronk spike it for us, and hit the like button, comment, share it to your friends, and like I said, go have some cookies with grandma and listen to our podcast.
Thank you guys very much.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys, and stay tuned. We got some big things coming.